So, you have made the decision that you want to be an owner-operator. You're sick of making money for everybody else. You're sick of working around everybody's schedule. And you're ready to be your own boss, damn it. If you're thinking about being an owner-operator, I really want you to watch this video because there's a lot to discuss. And if you want to go down this path, my goal is to use my experience and stories that I've heard from other people to positively impact you and prepare you to do such a silly thing. Absolutely every single day I hear from people asking, is now a good time to be an owner-operator? What do I need to do to become an owner-operator? Tons of it, because it's a little confusing, but starting any new business is, so that's not something that's just limited to the trucking industry. But there's a few things that you're gonna need to really get familiar with rather quickly. Like I said, this is not intended to scare you. This is, I hope, to prepare you. I hope this is very, very, very helpful. But this is not an easy industry, and this is something that should be well thought out because it's going to test the limits of your soul. Step one is going to be, let's discuss your experience, because the only other thing that matters is money, and that's a whole separate conversation. What is your experience? Are you fresh out of driving school? Then the answer for you should be no, that you're not ready. Okay, if you're not fresh out of driving school, you have some experience. Have you just driven for large fleets? How long have you driven for large fleets? How much maintenance can you do on your own? What is your mechanical understanding? Are you one of those guys that as soon as there's a problem, you're on the phone to get somebody else to fix it? Or are you capable of handling and diagnosing an insane amount of problems organically? So we'll say you're not out of driving school. You've done a pretty decent amount of time in whatever your niche is in the trucking industry. You're fairly handy with working with your truck and diagnosing it, knowing what's wrong, what it needs, different ways to redneck engineer something and make it work. So you've got the experience. I don't care how much experience you have. It's not enough. So if you are brand new into the industry, I really want you to let that sink in and think about that. 20 years, while very, very wonderful and nothing to sneeze at, even that wouldn't be, you're still gonna get schooled, you're gonna get humbled. So experience is the most valuable tool that you can have in your arsenal for wanting to start your own owner-operator business. Okay, so we're gonna assume that experience isn't an issue for you. You've got what you need, you're ready to handle it, you're ready to tackle it. Let's fucking do it. Next thing you're gonna need to do, and if you are experienced enough to know what the FMCSA is, you're probably good. If I said FMCSA or clearinghouse and you have no motherfucking idea what I'm talking about, you think that somewhere Ed McMahon is gonna jump into the conversation, that's sign number 2 that you're not ready to own your own. However, go through the FMCSA, go through their website, read through it. You need to be able to, they got us by the short hairs all the time. You have to stay up to date on that. And I'm sure as a company driver, you have heard about, seen about, read about, been subject to something with the FMCSA. It is completely different as an owner-operator. I mean, completely different. We are the ugly stepchildren of the trucking industry, and they don't like us. So you don't ever want to put yourself in a place where ignorance costs you money. So make sure you're up to date with that. So you got all that. It's time to come up with your business plan. You need to know what your everyday costs are going to be. You're going to need to understand, like, there's so much to it. maybe I should do a separate video on how to come up with a trucking business plan. What do you think? Let me know. But anyways, come up with a business plan. I would encourage you to come up with 2 or 3, if I'm being completely honest. 2 or 3 different sets of numbers, not necessarily 2 or 3 different business plans. That would be a massive pain in the dick. Don't do that. After you've created your business plan, I want you to walk up to the closest mirror, look at yourself, and see if you are still fucking serious. If you are, I want you to really marinate on that business plan for at least a week. This is not anything that happens quickly or overnight. This is going to take months. So I want you, that first business plan is going to have holes all in it. It's going to take you a little while to get it nailed down to something that is viable. If you have a good working relationship with your banker, especially if you're going to have to get financed for it, like many people do, have someone help you with that. Don't let them push you around or put their ideas onto you, but have a solid business plan. If you have a professional to help you write it up, even better. So you've got the experience, you've got a solid business plan. While you are presenting that to, well, I should say before you present that to the bank, because before you are able to get financing, you're going to need to create an EIN and an LLC. An EIN is free. You can go to the IRS's website. It takes just a moment to set it up, but you have got to have an LLC to protect yourself. This is all my opinions. I should state that left, right, upside down. This is my opinion. It doesn't mean it's fact. It doesn't mean it's the only way to go about it. It doesn't mean it's the best way. But you know what? It's a good fucking opinion. Anyways, get all that set up. You're gonna have to go through a registered agent for your LLC. Find a good one. You're gonna spend some money setting this up. You're gonna invest money in that you won't even know if there's gonna be a return on. Welcome to having a business. That's step 1. It's always hard. But so get your EIN set up, get your LLC. Once you have those things and a good business plan, now is when you get to go in and talk to your banker. This is the scariest part. It's gonna take a few meetings, more than likely. Be open to criticism. Banks don't like to loan on trucks. My banker tells me that all the time. I have a phenomenal banker that I absolutely adore, but he also speaks to me pretty frankly. And when he's not happy, no one's happy. But you're gonna need that mentorship. You really are, especially if you've never owned your own company before, because you're gonna be humbled time and again. And if you think, I'm just gonna pick a round number for the sake of the demonstration, but say you chose $100,000 as your startup cost, no, double it at a minimum. You should always have at least $50,000 in the bank. You might think that sounds absurd. Who has that kind of money? Well, the first time you blow an injector and it ruins your entire engine, over say the 4th of July weekend in Wasta, you're gonna wish you had that bank account. No one ever says, thank God I only have a little bit of money in my bank account. An oil change, that's something else you're gonna need to understand. Basic maintenance costs. If you have the ability to do this stuff yourself, do it. Sometimes that's not the case. So you're going to need to know the basic maintenance costs for that. You're going to need to know what it costs just for your truck to run down the road. There's a lot into that, and I will happily get into that later on. This is simply episode 1 of the series. This is just about getting started up. So be open to criticism. You're going to receive a lot of it. Don't tell anybody your plans, because people love to shit on things, and you're going to get discouraged. You're going to get discouraged a lot. So don't set yourself up for failure right out the gate. If you have somebody you really trust that supports you, by all means. I mean, why wouldn't you tell them? But while you're working everything out, unless you're reaching out for professional opinions, keep it to yourself while you're working on it. I strongly recommend having some sort of mentor in the trucking industry. Because like I said before, experience is the most valuable thing you can have. So having somebody that you can lean on for experiences that you haven't had, there's solutions, because you are going to have problems after problems after problems. It's just the way it is. Logistics is a motherfucker. You throw that in with mechanical stuff, it's going to happen. Which should probably bring me to the last point for this episode. So you've got it all lined out. You've got your business plan, you've got an EIN, you've got an LLC. You have phenomenal insurance because you don't skimp on insurance. Insurance, you're going to pay more in insurance than most people pay for a mortgage. Don't skimp on it. It will save your ass. Anyways, so you've got everything set. For all intents and purposes, you're ready to go. Before you do that and you go out and buy a shiny new Kenworth Peterbilt, something with a little chrome that catches your eye, I want you to think about how you handle stress. Because it's all on you now. There's no one coming to help you. There's no supervisor over your head that can make the hard choices. No one's ever coming to save you, but they will expect you to fail. How do you handle stress? Okay. How do you handle stress every day? That is nearly suffocating. Do you have a good outlet? Do you have a good support system? The good days, there's nothing better. I am forever insanely proud of what we were building. There's been some bad days, and those can about take you out. Depression in the trucking industry is rampant. Again, another video. I'm not going to preach at you about mental health right now. But there's a lot to consider. There really is. Is it rewarding? Absolutely. And if you have followed me for any amount of time, you know that I have such a passion about this industry and that I care about it very much. I'm not here to scare anybody or talk down on the industry by any means, but this is a hard job. And when you're running it yourself, it's even harder. So those are the first things you need to do to consider. This is step one of the step ones. I will be filming a video next week on, we'll just call it video 2, part 2, whatever you want to call it, on what to do next. But this is a lot of homework for all in one. I probably should have done this in 2 videos, to be honest, but here we are. I want you to really consider it. And then all my experienced owner-operators, what did I miss? What is something that you wish somebody would have told you? Because we all have those things. If you're anything like me, and you probably are, and if you're following me, I assume that we are at least somewhat similar. Sometimes, even when you know better, you learn things the hard fucking way. And if I can help somebody else avoid learning a lesson the hard way, the way that I did, for just stupid little things, I am so happy to be a good sister and just pass it on. So if I missed something, let me know. If you have questions, let me know. There will be a part 2. This is going to be an ongoing series because I firmly believe that we never stop learning. We can't. We can't ever stop learning and adapting to our industry because that's how we survive. You guys be good. Keep the rubber side down.